What's that? Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
About to be the clash of the Titans. Strike like a lightning bolt. You feel the ground pounding, that might be the coast. Quick like a joke, like to hit when provoked. Don't you doubt that. That's a Jaguar to a house cat. That's an outcast to a whole squadron. If you talking Houston, then we've got a problem. You'll probably get the horns if you mess with the cattle. Sit back in your saddle and get ready for the fan battle.
You know Jacksonville's motto, going places and eating faces.
Right.
Gang, gang.
Speaking of eating faces, welcome to the Fan Battle presents the Jaguars Fan Battle versus the Texans Fan Battle for this matchup against the Texans and Jaguars coming up this Sunday. Before we get into it, let me introduce my colleagues, my knucklehead friends. First off, I got my little big brother, Mr. VT.
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on?
And this is coming down from and down there in Tampa. I don't know why he's a Jags fan. I guess he likes the misery. Oh well. I got Mr. Ammo. What's going on, buddy?
No, just ready for this dub this weekend.
We'll get more on that too. And last but not least, we got Mr. Cody Blankenship. Cody Cold Gaming. What's going on, brother?
What's up, man? I'm all hyped up on bath salts and cocaine. Let's get it.
Here we go.
You ready to eat some faces, huh? All right. Well,
sounds like a regular day in Florida, man.
It does.
Well, let's get to it, guys. The matchup. The Jaguars are 1-1, and the Texans, of course, are 0-2. We'll kick it off with you, Ammo. What are the steps for the Jaguars to cream the Texans that's most likely going to happen?
Well, I saw the Texans injury report, and that does not look pretty whatsoever. That's a long list of important names starting to stack up on that list. So, and already probably wide margin of victory might be even worse now with that stuff starting to pile up. But then again, the Jaguars offense, which we all thought was going to be this top 5, top 7 unit in the league, is playing like a bottom 10 unit right now in terms of efficiency. So defense that we thought might not be good, playing pretty well. So kind of weird. So we'll see how that kind of maybe levels out this week. But the offense throws up another stinker, man. People are going to start jumping ship.
Okay. Cody, you got anything to add?
I mean, there's this thing going on with my fellow Jags fans. They're sad, dude. They've been sad for so long. You know what I mean? And I don't have that same, like, I don't let that creep up on me. You know what I mean? Like I fight my own demons or whatever, and I fight my own battles, and I try to keep that away from me. To keep the negativity off your back, shake it off. You know what I mean? Travis Kelce, whatever. But so, like, I mean, the majority of the Jags fans I see now, whatever, it's week 2. We just played the defending Super Bowl champions. I mean,
that's
yeah, these
stats. Check. I mean,
yeah, these stats
should have won that game like multiple times.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with that part, but if you look at tape, they had us hemmed up, man. I mean, they had Trevor Lawrence hemmed up, I should say. Playing man press or whatever, and I hope nobody else does that to us this season. I don't want to give y'all any ideas or anything. Just delete this part of the tape. But I mean, I don't know. Like, he did the best that, he did the best, like, out of all the other Jags quarterbacks that I would have seen out there. So, I'm not a doomsday Jags fan, especially not after week 2. I mean, that's insane to me. Like, I mean, yeah, the stats reflect that we're like, on the bottom of the barrel, but only us and the Detroit Lions so far have played the Chiefs this year. I mean, and they're, like I said, they're Super Bowl winning team.
Mhm.
So I mean, so when we come out, we play the Texans or whatever, I see us getting right back into the swing of things or whatever, and end the season with like, dub after dub after dub. And that's just something that I hope happens or whatever. I know how it is when the Texans come down to Jacksonville. Y'all got this weird voodoo curse over us,
Mhm.
but
We'll take it.
I don't see it. Yeah, but I don't see that continuing. I don't. I mean, the injuries have been killing y'all, and y'all are on some like 4th-string people now. So, I mean, that would be like an insanely embarrassing loss if it does happen. And I just don't see it happening.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I just want to be clear that I am not one of those doomsday Jaguars fan as well. So what I was speaking about is that I know some people will be ready to jump that ship. That won't be me. I'm going down with the ship no matter what's happening. But I have every faith and every confident fiber of my being telling me that that Jags offense is going to look right this week.
Sadly, I live up here in Chiefs country, so I got to watch that game, and that's why I wrote the article on the Fan Battle Sports Network about the game of the Jaguars versus Chiefs. I thought y'all did a great job. Y'all kept the offense in check for the most part. For the first 3 quarters, y'all did keep the offense in check. It was look, Peterson and Reed game plan around both offenses. Like they're like, hey, we got to stop the offense no matter what we do. That's the main goal: stop the offense. And y'all did for the most part. But once they start scoring, you can kind of see y'all got defeated there in the 4th quarter, especially when Trevor Lawrence, what was like 11 throws in the end zone, and just could not get one completed. That just took the confidence, and that's when Kansas City ran away. But I'm glad to see y'all are sticking with the ship. That sounds like the version of VT for the Texans. So VT, they're talking about the injuries list. So why don't you go ahead and tell them
Yeah,
what's
I
going to
mean,
happen?
let me just say that if the Jags don't win this, they should get their license revoked. They should not have a franchise.
Yeah.
There's literally no way that the Texans should be able to pull this off. Just to give a quick rundown, I'm not going to go through every single one because that'll take 6 years. But we are missing Derek Stingley, our lockdown corner. We are missing our nickel back, Tavir Thomas. He's being replaced by a practice squad guy, Grillin Arnold. Christian Kirk is going to have a field day. If you got Christian Kirk in fantasy, start him. That's just some. Petrie's out. Petrie's our best DB, even better than Stingley. Petrie's a beast. He had 5 interceptions last year, 147 tackles, and he's just a beast. And he's been out. He's going to be out this week, and he's possibly going to be out next week. So we are hopefully starting Ward and Murray. Murray, it may not start either because he's in concussion protocol. So we could have a 4th-string safety out there. As far as our D-line is concerned, Hassan Ridgeway is our best run stopper, and he's out of there. Denzel Perryman's our Mike. He's out of there. So on defense, basically the game plan, if I'm the Jags, if I'm Doug Peterson, is follow Graylin Arlen, just throw the Christian Kirk all day long. You know that Steven Nelson is going to be covering Calvin Ridley, and Calvin Ridley is going to get away with a bunch of shit. But I'm just saying, why even take the risk? Just throw to Christian Kirk all day long, and you guys should be able to put up at 30, if not 40 points.
Cody, I
Just
see
a
you hand.
quick
Yeah,
question, sir.
go ahead.
Teacher,
Go ahead.
teacher, yes. Shaq Griffin
No.
is going to be out there?
Yes,
No?
he is.
Who's he covering? Because that's who we're throwing to every play.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
honestly,
they're
in all
open.
reality, why wouldn't you throw to Graylin Arnold, who has essentially only played nickelback?
We got beef with Shaq Griffin.
Yeah.
He
Gotcha.
got burnt many, many times in a Jaguars uniform. It's time he gets burnt by a Jaguars uniform. So,
Yeah, sadly, he
I
is
agree with
taking
that.
these things. He's been playing pretty well in the slot position for us, but he hasn't been playing a lot. But now he's going to get more because of Stingley being out. He's going to take more of the volume. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting time. I agree with BT. I think Christian Kirk is going to have a heyday because I think they put Nelson on Ridley, and Nelson has been a beast for us. QB, the quarterback's ratings is a 40.3. I think
Top 5 in the league
right.
corner right now. So I mean, like, yeah, of course, Calvin Ridley is an amazing wide receiver, but again, what is the point? Why would you even attempt to do that when you have Christian Kirk that's going to be free all game long?
Right. But so my question is Josh Allen, is he back to 100% or is he still hurt?
So he looked like he had a couple good practices, so I think he's probably good to go. They'll probably lean towards a game time decision just to make sure. But I think he stacked 2 okay practices back to back where it didn't really bother him. So
Okay. Well, that worries me a little bit because we have a carousel of offensive line, but we do have Leonard Tunsil back, so hopefully that left side stays tight and right. But look, Stroud has been the top 10 quarterback with a whole offensive line.
He's top 4.
Okay, top 4. I mean, passing wise, yeah, but I'm talking about overall.
So he has 626 passing yards. Just to throw this stat out there, he has 626 passing yards now. If he has 213 yards, which I think he will do this game somehow, he will lead the NFL, be in top 5 in the NFL for rookies that have had that many passing yards and starts. The one glorious thing that I can say about the Texans right now is we got our quarterback right. As much as the injuries suck, as much as right now, we want the defense to be better, but, they're too injured and they're not showing up. You've got problems there, but the quarterback we got right. Davis Mills had Nico Collins for 2 years and never did anything with them. The second game of his life, he made Nico Collins a top 5 wide receiver. He now has 226 yards. That is something that no one expected. I certainly did not. That is Nico Collins' rookie jersey before he changed to 12. I had moved him at the bottom. He is now at the top with Petrie. So, yeah, that is the one thing the Texans can be proud of. But overall, with all these injuries, there's just no chance until week 5.
All right. So what kind of give us a game plan of if we were the Texans, how can we beat the, even though it's not going to happen, how can we beat the Jags?
Miracles.
Miracles. All right. Miracles. Well,
I mean, I'll tell you this. Like, it's not going to happen, but I'll tell you how it could happen, right?
Jack Griffin changes jerseys at halftime.
Let's pretend for a moment that the defense is actually serviceable. From an offensive perspective, what you have to do is you have to do what he did in week 2, and I'm talking about Bobby Slowick. So one of the best things that Bobby Slowick did, and we talked about this with Lance Zierlein on our podcast, is that he set up packages where you had multiple receivers in Stroud's line of vision during the blitzes. That way it's quick. You can get the ball out, and he set up not just in breaking routes, but even deep curls. So you basically have a high-low. You have a 1 and 2, and you do that. And you and from the offensive side, that's what you do on passing. Now, if you can get the run game going, that's only going to help. But with this line, we haven't been able to do that. And Dameon Pierce has not been able to hit his breaks. And I love Dameon Pierce, but the difference between last year and this year is that Dameon Pierce he trusted where the hole was going to be and just went. And even when it wasn't there, he ran through the tackles. What he's doing now is he's stopping for a split second or 2 seconds, not 2 seconds, but a second. That 1 second is too long because the gap is closed, and then he's getting stopped. So if he's able to go back to what he was in week 1, then we can get the run game going. So I think that one of the things that Texans fans, as much as I think we're going to get blown out, I think that if you're a Texans fan and you want to watch this game and you don't want to cry the whole time, the one thing that you should look at is the offense, because we are going to have a good passing attack. Let's see what Bobby Slowick, the O-line, and Dameon Pierce can do to get the run game going. On defense, listen, I'm out of answers on defense. There's just way too many injuries there to do anything. I'm hoping that Will Anderson can get a sack, possibly 2. But other than that, defense is going to suck.
Anything to add, fellas?
I mean, yeah, like y'all's offense is crazy, and Stroud's putting up those numbers with Nico Collins, and you were calling that in the offseason or whatever. I didn't really believe you, but I I mean, now it is like show and prove or whatever. It's week 2, and here Nico is like ahead of that wide receiver chart. So that's pretty cool. I mean, it's crazy that y'all are 0-2. I mean, like I don't understand what. Like I didn't really watch y'all's games or whatever. Is y'all's defense just not like any point of attack or whatever towards anybody's offense? Like what's going on?
Well, I mean, injuries is a big part. Like last week, we had Petrie and Ward out, and our defense is a safety.
And Murray went on half.
I was about to say, and Murray went out in the first quarter. I think it was the same.
A fourth string safety.
I think it was the same play that Richardson got. I think they both knocked each other with a concussion. Am I right?
I think that was MJ Stewart that did that. Not
okay.
So no.
He went out with the injury, and so we had to change the game plan. We couldn't man up no more. We had to do a lot of zone, but you have to on the front seven. They just weren't attacking. They weren't getting at the quarterback, and y'all know Gardner Minshew. If he has time, he's going to beat the zone, and that's what happened. Luckily, they ran the ball a lot and to kill the time. And just gave us the chance to come back. We could have came back, but just couldn't pull the trigger, and we lost. A lot of people think it was garbage time stats. The Colts were still blitzing. They were still
in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, they were still going after the quarterback. But like I said, in the fourth quarter, we had a chance to make it to a one-possession game. We couldn't get the end zone when we tried to kick the field goal. It was. And he's usually money at that spot, right. And he missed it.
It wasn't even that long. It was like a 51 field goal or something right around there, and that's
it was
easy for him.
42.
Was it 42?
42 yard.
It's even worse.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing is that offense basically was C.J. Stroud and Nico Collins. That's obviously you can say it was some of the line, but I can't even give them any credit. But it was really C.J. Stroud and Nico Collins that was putting up points, and obviously Robert Woods was involved. Tank Dell was involved, so I can't say their names. But for the most part,
the receivers period.
The receivers period really did their job. I mean, listen, you have 147 Nico Collins, but Robert Woods and Tank Dell got 70 yards apiece. So they did their jobs. It was the defense being injured and then also not showing up on the front seven. So we know our secondary was banged up to hell. And Ridgeway being that run stopper, and he's gone, meaning that the run defense wasn't there. But we should have been able to get at the quarterback. That's on Will Anderson and Jonathan Gennard, Jerry Hughes. That's on them. You can't say that's on injuries. And so I do think that's going to change a little bit this week. I do think that we'll have a couple sacks against Trevor Lawrence. I think your line's not that great, honestly. So we should be able to get to the quarterback. But at the end of the day, I don't think that's going to be enough. Because
y'all starting left tackle still out, isn't he? Ain't he still suspended?
No, but the person that's playing for him is playing absolutely lights out.
Yeah, he's
let up one pressure in 2 full games.
Talking about Walker Little, right?
Yes.
Oh, was it Little? I thought Harrison's the one who took over for him.
Yeah,
no, Harrison's playing right.
Right. Yeah,
he just got the captain badge.
Oh.
Yeah.
So he might not even come back to his spot, huh?
Yeah, no, Walker Little is the best lineman on the team right now. And honestly, Harrison hasn't played that bad except for against Chris Jones. He gave him his welcome to the NFL.
Chris Jones won 72% of his reps. That is absurd.
Yeah, it was a baptism.
I was about to say, it's more y'all's interior line.
It is our interior offensive line that is doo-doo.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
and hopefully we take advantage of that.
Hopefully, Sheldon Rankins has a heyday. He's no Chris Jones, but
to tell you the truth, I haven't been all that happy with Rankins overall.
I was game 1, but he just completely disappeared. Game 2.
He seems slowish, honestly. He seems sluggish. He doesn't.
He's been in the league for almost 10 years. So
I know, but I mean, he was on the Jags just recently, and he was all decent. He just seems really, really slow. But he's getting paid $10 million. He better act like it. But I mean, you could be in the league for a decent amount of time. You get $10 million, got to do something.
Talk about Dameon Pierce real quick. He had a slow start, and when he had his breakout game
against us,
week 3. You know who he played? The Jaguars. So hopefully,
I was going to say your offensive key to victory is if you can get Damian Pierce involved and you can get him going. That's how you beat the Jags. If there's a world where the Texans beat the Jaguars this week.
See, and this is where I'm going to disagree with you, because most of the time I would actually agree with you 100, a bazillion% of the time. I would say run game, run game, run game, run game, run game. I'm all about the run. But now when we have a quarterback that can actually get the ball in really tight windows, the fact is he's incredibly accurate. His adjusted completion percentage outside of drops and throwaways is 88.9%. The dude is accurate as fuck. And so I love Damian Pierce. I think the run game is the way that I would say most teams should win. But in this case, because of our O-line, pass.
But I think what
are you sleeping on our DBs right now?
Tyson Campbell is going to clamp Nico Collins. I promise you that.
Yeah, that'd be a mistake, dude. We held Patrick Mahomes with Travis Kelce back to 17 points.
I want to make this clear. I like CJ Stroud, but I am not going to anoint this kid after 2 weeks. It is way too early for all this. Dude, yards are great. He showed some promise. He's not a top 5, top 10 QB. He's played decently, but he's going to get his moment, and it's going to happen this week. If you want to win, it's Damian Pierce.
I mean, I think
that's what beats the Jaguars.
I think he's seen his bad moments, particularly. Here's one of the things I love about CJ Stroud is that the mistakes he made in preseason, like in the Patriots game, he doesn't repeat. We saw the development back in training camp. The struggles that we saw in training camp, there were questions around like, did we get the right guy back in training camp, right? And every week and every day, he actually got better. So obviously, you guys aren't following anything in training camp and stuff like that, but you probably saw other highlights with the Patriots game and the mistakes that he made. What he's doing now differently is that he understands his line is absurdly shit, and he understands that you can't trust him. So what he does two different things. He doesn't just run away the way other quarterbacks do. This is one thing that I think that he's almost like a vet. When he's under pressure and he sees the pressure coming from the sides, he literally goes up. He doesn't run backwards and just gets a sack, which is what a lot of rookie quarterbacks do. They rely on their athleticism and run back. What does he do when there's pressure coming from the left and right? He goes right up. And then if you're in zone, you're fucked because he's going to find a way to get the ball out. And that's one of the reasons why CJ Stroud, why I'm praising him. Yes, is it early? Of course. But the different plays that I've seen him being able to succeed when other quarterbacks, and I'm talking vets. I'm not just talking Davis Mills here and shit like that. Like, I'm talking vets, actual quarterbacks that have starting jobs right now, like Jimmy Garoppolo. And I mean, literally some of the quarterbacks we see right now, I don't think they could make some of those throws. I don't think they could make some of those plays. He's got the combination of athleticism and accuracy to take us where we want to go. We just need to build a team around him. And we obviously need to get not 13 dudes on IR, right? We got the most dudes on IR than any other team in the league right now. So like once that's cleared up, after week 5, we can start stacking dubs. It's just not going to happen until then.
Any rebuttal?
I do have to say one thing. Jeffrey popped up here with a little comment. You asked if I watch football. You clearly have never watched Tyson Campbell play football if you don't think he can clamp. So
I was about to say Tyson Campbell is
he has done more in the NFL than Nico Collins has done for longer so far. So by resume,
I would say Tyson Campbell is a pretty good corner. But the other corner is what's worrying me about your squad.
Darius Williams has been good.
I like Andre Cisco. Andre Cisco has stepped it up, but
all three cornerbacks rank top 5 in PFF successful coverage over expected. That's 3 of them out of that's the top 8. Like I don't understand how people are sleeping on the DB core right now. The Jags. This is like a no-fly zone.
I mean, I'm not going to say it's a no-fly zone. I will say that Tyson Campbell is strong. I'm not gonna shit on him because he's actually pretty good. But the difference is when you guys are playing in zone, we can take advantage of that because we're not talking about man coverage here. We're talking about zone, and when you're in zone, there will be that slight opening that CJ can find. This is one of the cool things. Like Bobby Slowick has made plenty of mistakes, particularly in the protection, like putting Darway up there in order to protect C.J. Stroud, you're going to get C.J. Camp. He's made mistakes. But one of the best things about Bobby Slowick is he understands the strengths of the players that he has when it comes to the receiving game. And so he knows where to put Collins. He knows how to use Tank Dell. He knows that Tank Dell, he doesn't need to be just that deep. That he's the guy that you're putting underneath and going to get you yak. No one ever thought Nico was going to lead the team in yak yards. Guess who is a yak leader? Nico friggin' Collins, because he understands how to use them. You know what Tim Kelly never did? Tim Kelly said, "No, I want you to act like a Tank Dell. I want your routes to be like a Tank Dell." No, those in-breaking routes where you only have one cut, not two or three, is perfect for Nico Collins. And so so Bobby Slowick is using the players to their advantage. The only thing he needs to do better is find ways to protect C.J. Stroud. I think they need to use TQ out there, Tegan Quintariano, as an inline blocker until our line comes back. I think that he's incredibly underused. Don't use him as a receiving threat right now. The O-line needs help. I think that when you do that, that gives the line a little more help. The other big issue is that we let a lot of free runners through. Most of the sacks, we have the most sacks in the league right now, right? So 11 sacks, and most of those sacks are on free runners. That is something Bobby Slowick has to address, and I think you address that with TQ.
Yeah, the only way I see the receivers being successful on the Texans side is, of course, when y'all blitz and we're slanting the hell out of you guys. But it's not like a successful where we get 20, 30 yards on you guys. It's going to be like an 8, a 7, a 9,
Like that whole scheme that you were just talking about, whatever, that would rely if y'all had the run game going.
I was about to say thank you, Cody, because I was about to say I'm going to disagree with my brother VT, and I'm going to say the way to win the game is get the running game involved. Like Pierce has to have at least 21 touches and about 80 yards for us to even come close to beating you guys. We have to open up the playbook, play action, whatnot, and we have to let the Jags think that Pierce is going to be involved. Because if they don't think Pierce is going to be involved, then they're going to game plan and circle Mr. C.J. Stroud, and it's going to be hard.
I'm not saying you don't run the ball at all. I'm saying that I don't think that Slowick is going to give Dameon Pierce 20 carries. I think he's going to start out and see if the run game works. I would love it if the run game works, but you got two issues. You got the issue I already said about Dameon Pierce, and then you have the issue that our interior does not know how to run block. If you go on the right-hand side, I know we just extended Shaq Mason, but he has been terrible in run blocking. Tunsil, hopefully he's back. He's still listed as questionable. So we still aren't certain if he comes back, but Josh Jones does not know how to run block. So the issue here is that the line itself is pretty bad in run blocking. And like I already said with Dameon Pierce, because you can't trust them, he's second guessing himself. He needs to put himself out there and needs to realize if the gap isn't there, let me use my momentum. Let me get the 2 yards and let them be afraid of hitting me. But he's not doing that. So if you want to run, it's on Dameon Pierce to say, fuck it. The line's not there. I'm going to go make my yards. He did that last year. Can you do it again?
Honestly, week 1, he had a decent he was starting to have a decent game, but we pulled away from the run game. He did. The Ravens interior defensive line is not as good as the Colts. The Colts and you, Cody, and Amo can account for this. The Colts interior defensive line with Franklin and Buckner,
Buckner's a dog.
They can cause havoc. So I'm going to give this last week, especially, on to this great talent on the different interior defense. I'm not really scared of the interior defense of the Jaguars. So I'm going to say, run the ball. And BT, if you're right, then that's when you say, okay, we do have a problem. But I still think you have like you said, it's week 3, still early to jump to conclusions. But I think you attacked their weakest part of their defense, and that's of course up the middle. Take away Josh Allen, take away Trayvon Walker. Hopefully, it utilizes the blitz, but I don't see that happening.
I'm not necessarily scared of the Jags front seven. In all reality, the biggest thing I'm afraid of is Trevor Lawrence. To tell you the truth, that's the only thing that really scares me. And the thing is, Trevor Lawrence, as much as people will bitch and say that he's inconsistent, when he's on his game, he's amazing. To tell you the truth, like I'm not even going to front. He's a damn good quarterback. And Trevor Lawrence with Calvin Ridley and Christian Kirk is a dangerous orgy.
And Zay Jones. Zay Jones been
pause.
Zay Jones is not playing this week.
Oh, he's not. He's out. Okay.
Yeah, Zay's out. But
thank God.
Calvin Ridley and Christian Kirk, listen, to tell you the truth, I dogged you guys for paying Christian Kirk all that money. I had to eat my own words. You guys definitely did the right thing by getting Trevor Lawrence that threat because it made you guys get to the playoffs, And Evan Ingram, although he hasn't had, great games yet, I think he might this week. So I'm starting him this week. I'm starting Christian Kirk and Evan Ingram in fantasy. And the thing is, because I think you guys have a ton of weapons. Listen, I hate to give Jazz love, but I'm gonna be real. Everyone talks about Miami having amazing offensive weapons, and they do. But the Jags have a ton of offensive weapons too. Travis Etienne, amazing running back that is part of the passing game. So I mean, the thing is, you've got a ton of weapons. You got Etienne, you got Christian Kirk, you got Calvin Ridley, and you got a good quarterback. Your offense is amazing.
Ingram. Zay Jones when he's healthy.
When he's healthy. But in this game, listen, it's to me, what I'm scared of is your offense. It's not your defense, it's your offense. And your offense is rocking. I understand that the Chiefs game didn't look like what you guys wanted to look like. But again, it is the second game of the season. And what the hell can you do when you got Chris Jones winning 72% of his reps? To give you just some perspective, a top defensive tackle usually wins 22 to 25% of his reps. Mm-hmm. Chris Jones is winning 72%. This guy's a beast. He's a cheat code. I mean, like in all reality, that is not representative of what the Jags are going to look like. And now I have to fucking vomit because I talked you up so much.
Yeah. He's prime Aaron Donald, and that's what he is right now.
And that's why we were so upset. It's like we have the weapons on offense or whatever. Like, why didn't we put up the numbers? And it's the Chiefs and Andy Reid and all this shit. And it's like, bro, if you just
if they didn't have Chris Jones, you guys probably would have won that game in all reality.
Yeah, but I mean, we were a couple toe touches away from winning the game anyway, even with Chris Jones. Like Trevor throws it just a tad too high, or Zay Jones doesn't get his feet down the one time he doesn't do it out of 5 times that he normally does. It was a couple little things that could have swung the game. I mean, we didn't play well enough to win on offense. We should and we need to execute those plays, but it's a couple little things that
really don't get taken out by the goalpost. I mean, like there's a couple.
Yeah, don't throw your best receiver into a goalpost, maybe.
Right.
Yeah, that's why I gave like Press Taylor so much shit, whatever, because it was like, I mean, you got a game plan for that. Like he's winning 70% of the tackles. What do they do? Nothing. Like, they didn't put a tight end or they didn't put nothing there. It's like they just let that happen to Trevor, dude. And it's like, he didn't execute. Like, come on, bro. Like, what chance did he fucking have? Like, he's getting chased down. Like 70% of the time, like you said. Like,
yeah, I don't know why you don't put your bruiser back, Tank Bigsby out there and do a little bit.
He kind of was pretty non-existent this game. I think he got a grounding. From week 1, even though he had his redemption with the touchdown. But I think, I
mean, I would throw him out there with the cut block, the Chris Jones. I mean, take out his knees. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you got to do something to stop Chris Jones.
Right? And they just didn't, dude. That was like the craziest part to me. And then they came in the press conference afterwards talking about like, oh, well, we went over the game plan and they just like didn't execute, whatever. And it was like coaches got to coach better and players got to execute better. It's like, how are you supposed to execute that better though? Like, come on. Like you put like Anton Harrison, you're a rookie in the NFL. You need to block like one of the best defensive ends like in all of the NFL. And you need to do it consistently for the rest of this game because you're going to be on your own, buddy. Like who does that?
Mind you, a guy that's in a contract year that's trying to play to get paid again. So he's extra on top of his stuff. Like, give him some help, man.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Press Taylor should have got a lot more shit, and if the play calling like that continues, he will. So.
I seen a play where he like punched the they showed a video of him punching the desk like he was.
Yeah, he's like,
little tantrum fit. Yeah.
What happens when you call all these screens and little 1 yard speed outs and all this cute little stuff instead of just attacking downfield?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I think they had to, right? I mean, at that point, because of like Chris Jones and stuff, like, what do you got to do? You got to hit up in the short game and try to get some yak. Like, I don't actually hate the play calling. I can understand it's frustrating to watch. Trust me, I get it.
Well, then they got to stop getting Jamal Agnew involved in offense because for whatever reason, man, he can't hold the ball. He's fumbling in key moments, especially against the Chiefs. I love him as a returner, and like he's made some cool gadget plays on offense, but I think that's got to stop now. It's hurting us more than it's helping us. We have way too many other weapons that need to get touches that I just don't see why he needs to be involved in the offense anymore.
See, that's completely fair.
I disagree with that because Zay Jones is out with a knee injury now.
Well, I mean, maybe for this week, yeah, but like, I mean, going forward with a healthy room.
Well, I'm glad that he was a part of the offense or whatever and knows like some of those, and has some of those like playtime moments, in games or whatever, because he's about to have to do it again.
Right. All right, well, fellas, let's jump to predictions, man. I'll kick it off with VT. Go ahead and tell me your predictions.
I mean, on our last podcast, I said that the Jags would put up around 27 without Stingley. I don't know, 34, 37, close to 40. It really should be up there. The Jags should be getting in the 30s, and I wouldn't be surprised if it gets in the 40s, to tell you the truth. I think we'll put up 2 to 3 touchdowns. I think we'll get 21 points, potentially 24. But I think, and the reason why I think that, in all honesty, is because it's a long game and we're going to get shut out pretty damn early. So I do think that we'll be able to put up the touchdowns there, but it's obviously just not going to be enough. The Jags are going to clamp us in the first half. I don't think the game is going to be competitive.
All right. Ammo. What you got?
Let's see. I'm going to go 31-17.
Oh, all right. Okay.
And I say this a lot, and I usually say it as a joke or like speaking into existence type moments or whatever. And I thought about not saying it for this one, just because like it's the Texans or whatever, and when they come here, it's like I said, y'all have this weird voodoo curse on us. But I don't want to not say it and then it happen. You know what I mean? I wanted to at least come true one time. So Jags by 50, dude. Let's go.
There you go. Well, I Wednesday when we had Lance Zerline on the Texans fan battle, I said it was going to be 31-14. But now that Stingley is out, I'm going to say it's 31-10. My previous prediction against on the AFC South fan battle. This offense, man. I'm with BT. That's what scares me.
You're depressing, dude. You're so sad,
bro. I mean, what are you
Stay away from sharp objects and ropes, dude.
No
more bridges for y'all.
What are you supposed to do when your injury IR list?
I mean, the amount of injuries we have is fucking ridiculous.
Oh my
god.
Ridiculous.
Our injury list is longer.
I came on here expecting to roast y'all and stuff, whatever, and it feels like a goddamn therapy session.
Look, we were in our text thread. We're like, man, we gotta go in here and get roasted by the Jags fans. Like we were prepared for this. We knew what was going to happen. Like we already know, bro. Like
the group therapy session message group. Yeah.
Look, but like for real though, the Texans injury list is longer than Santa Claus's good or bad list. Like, dude, it goes on for miles. Like,
I mean, on top of the injury reserve list, the dudes that are playing are still hurt. Larry Tunsil, if he plays, he's still hurt. Like the dudes I understand all football players are hurt, right? But on top of the injury reserve list, the players that are actually playing are hurt. So like, there's literally like, God forbid this line is worse than it has been the last 2 weeks if something happens to CJ Stroud. But overall, fuck, we're just way too hurt to do
Even
anything.
CJ Stroud's playing with the shoulder injury.
Oh yeah, he's hurt too. He's
Yeah,
hurt with the shoulder injury, right?
Yeah, so
Thank you, man. I even forgot about
My
that.
leg.
yeah. So like,
That's insane to me. I mean, he's still putting up numbers though. Like, you know, the future looks like somewhat promising. You know, like after y'all struggle it out through this season or whatever, y'all might even like get a handful of wins. I know y'all were saying y'all were going to get 6 wins when the offseason started, and y'all were higher up on the defense than you were on the offense.
I said 7, and I think it's 6 now because the Colts should have been a win. That was one of my scheduled wins. So instead of 7, it's now dropped down to 6. I still think we get there. I didn't predict that we would win against you in the offseason. So this isn't changing anything. I thought we would have been competitive, but I didn't. I actually had you guys sweeping us in the offseason. So this doesn't change anything.
I still
in
got
terms
us,
of my schedule.
Yeah, I got us. I actually called us getting swept by the Jags, splitting with the Colts, and sweeping the Titans because fuck the Titans. Like
that's exactly what I
had. like fuck Bud Adams, fuck that whole organization. Like it's Houston until we die. So yeah,
hey,
that's how
Jacoy's quit messing with Ammo, dude. He just looks like that. He's just high all the time.
I'm high all the time.
When the Jags are winning, I mean, you know.
Oh boy.
But
I know the Jaguars are winning, so.
Oh yeah, exactly. Right. But for real,
yeah, we love Kirk.
I do see us. Ammo can account for this on the AFC South Fan Battle. I still say that we win 6 wins, especially when our line gets healthy. When we get a Howard, when we get a Scruggs, the line's gonna be a lot better. And just look what CJ Stroud's doing without no line, and he's running for his life.
Every goddamn play. Dude, all right, just another stat. He's the 3rd most under pressure quarterback in the league right now, and he's still able to get the shit off. I mean, that is not just something you normally can do, right?
Yeah, see like a little ray of sunshine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but right now, no. I got to say right now out of the rookie classes, only because my biggest thing is availability, is the best ability. And, of course, Anthony Richardson is out with a concussion. So I'm going to say the best quarterbacks in rookies is Stroud, number 1, Richardson, number 2, and then Bryce, number 3. And Levis will always be number 4 because of Mayo. So
he might even be number 7 or something like
probably,
that.
Yeah. Well, however many quarterbacks was in this draft, he's the last one. Like,
yep. I don't know how many there were, but he's the last one.
Right.
How bad does Ryan Tannehill need to be before he gets a starting position? Like, that's insane.
I honestly don't know why they are.
They won't like.
They love old people, dude. They love trotting them out and just like y'all play till y'all die.
It's a retirement home.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Bro,
it's a retirement home for wide receivers.
They will never ever bench Tannehill because he's so inconsistent. One day he's real good, and the next Sunday he's really bad. Then really good, then really bad. Like they're never gonna because he's so inconsistent. He's inconsistent enough to win them 3 or 4 games.
He's been like that his whole career or whatever, and Titans fans act like he's not. And I just don't understand like what the hell is in the water out there where they just like believe all the stuff that they're talking. And yeah, Levis Girl left him for Morgan Wallen.
He's like, I ain't fucking no 3rd stringer.
She's dating Morgan Wallen now?
Yes. So the story was like she went to the Morgan Wallen concert or whatever and got picked up and went backstage. And if that was Levis's girl, it ain't no more.
Mm-mm.
If my girl goes backstage with Morgan Wallen, dude, I'm wiping my hands of that and leaving.
And that's a bad thing because that's the only good thing he had working for him was his girl.
Seriously.
Like, yeah. See,
dude, think about how he feels right now. He was supposed to be selected in the top 10, went 2nd round, lost his hot ass girlfriend, and is now a 3rd stringer on the Tennessee Titans. What? The only thing he really has going for him is his Mayo contract. Like literally, like he's got a Mayo contract, and that's
how great though. How great though would it be that the Titans finished with like a top 8 pick, and they spit it on the quarterback. And the last 3 years, they 1st, 2nd, and 3rd on a quarterback. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Oh, I would love if Tennessee had to draft a quarterback every single year. That would just
Bro.
make me so happy.
Bro, and just hear the
Dude,
Titans fans.
imagine sitting in that room waiting for your name to get called, and you're like, in the NFL draft, you're like, okay, I'm gonna go first round, and that one day is as good as it gets. It's like that's day you don't get picked or whatever. The second day, and then like everything just starts going downhill. That's insane to me, dude. Because usually that'd be like the best day of your life. It was Levis's worst, I guess. That's nuts.
I know there was
it's a country song.
I know there was sitting here eating mayo. Yeah, for real.
He's gonna get his fucking truck repoed while he's at practice.
No, he got the cover. He has the Hellman's truck, so it's good.
Yeah, he's got a couple of Hellman stickers on there. They're not gonna repo that.
Yeah, that's right. No, nobody wants to touch that with 10-foot pole, So, but all right, fellas.
There's so many bananas in here.
Right. Hey, why they have bite marks in them? What the fuck? Why is there coffee with mayonnaise in it? What? All right, fellas. Well, in the wise words of our boy Crenshaw, this is the horrible part of the show because it's the end. Guys, tell us where we can find you on social media, what you got cooking. Cody, I'll kick it off with you first. Where we can find you on social media, what you got cooking.
So at Cody Cole Gaming and at Jags Fan Battle. And we're live Tuesdays at 8.
And you also got the Fan Battle on Fridays, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean we need a Falcons fan for next week. So trying to find one.
We might have to create a Falcons fan because I don't know that they exist.
My internet just crapped out. I don't even know if y'all can hear me right now.
Yeah,
we can hear you. We just can't see you.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good thing. We don't want to see you. So, all right, Emma. And what about you? Tell me where you can find you and what you got cooking.
So you can find me on Monday nights on the AFC South Fan Battle podcast. You can find me Fridays trash talking whoever the Jaguars are playing for the week, and then you can find me on Twitter at AmmoJags.
All right, BT.
You can find me on the Texans Fan Battle podcast every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Central. You can find my latest article at fanbattlesports.com. And you can find me on Twitter and Threads and everywhere else at Brown Chubby Bear.
All right. You can find me at A1 Day One Texans. I've been writing some articles. Sadly, I had to write one for the Jags. So make sure you check us out at fanbattlesports.com like BT just said. You can catch me Mondays with Ammo, trash talking the Titans on the AFC South Fan Battle podcast. And then Wednesdays with my boy BT and Crenshaw on the Texans Fan Battle podcast. So don't miss out because we have the first running back of the Texans, Mr. Wells himself.
Jonathan Wells. I love this dude, man. I love him. If you guys aren't excited about CJ Stroud of the season, you got to watch this episode. He is a hype master for CJ Stroud, and he's on point.
Tune in. It's going to be great. And until then, enjoy this ass kicking we were about to see from the Jacksonville Jaguars. Talk to y'all later.
Later.